Welcome back to Let's Play Saga Red Dead, where we play Red Dead Redemption 2 and tell cowboy stories. And this week we are going to continue the stories of Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. And we're going to talk about their move to Tombstone. So, Wyatt Earp resigned from the Dodge City Police Force on September 9th in 1879, and he traveled to Las Vegas in the New Mexico Territory. He was there with his wife Maddie, his brother Jim, and Jim's wife Bessie. And there is where they reunited with Doc Holliday and Doc's common law wife, Big Nose Kate. And the six of them went on to Prescott. Okay. Virgil Earp was appointed Deputy U.S. Marshal for the Tombstone Mining District on November 27th in 1879, 3 days before they left for Tombstone. Okay. Virgil was to operate out of Tombstone, and that was about 280 miles away from Prescott. His territory was to include the entire southeast area of the Arizona Territory. So he was doing the southeast territory. They had, I believe, for the Arizona Territory, for the district marshals, they had 4, so it was basically southeast, southwest, northwest, northeast. It may have been 6, I can't remember, but there wasn't a lot of men to cover a lot of area. So Wyatt, Virgil, and James Earp. The problem with history is that they talk about Jim Earp and James Earp. The reality is those are the same person. They all traveled to Tombstone. And so Tombstone had been founded on March 5th of 1879 with about 100 people living in tents and a few shacks. So like when you see the movies and stuff, by the time that movie came along, by the time the the OK Corral came along, yeah, you're absolutely looking at a full-fledged town. But when the Earps got there, it was a tent city for the most part. I don't think a lot of people realize that. They think that it was a well-established town and whatnot, and it had only been established a few months prior to them even getting there. It was a mining town, so a lot of tents, a lot of miners and stuff like that. Okay, so they arrived on December 1st, 1879, and Doc Holliday remained in Prescott, where the gambling afforded better opportunities. So until the town actually got up and running, until Tombstone actually got up and running, Doc Holliday stayed in Prescott, 280 miles away, because there wasn't even a proper saloon in Tombstone at the time. So they were there for a good little while, and on July 25th of 1880, Army Captain Joseph Hurst asked Deputy U.S. Marshal Virgil Earp to assist him in tracking down some outlaw cowboys who had stolen 6 mules from Fort Rucker, Arizona. Virgil requested the assistance of his brothers Wyatt and Morgan, who had joined them later in Tombstone, along with the Wells Fargo agent Marshall Williams. And they found the mules at the McLaury's ranch. Now, McLaury was a cowboy, and in the Arizona Territory, that was a term which was generally used to refer to loose action of outlaws, some of who also were landowners and ranchers. legitimate cowmen were referred to as cattle handlers or ranchers in that area. So they found a branding iron, which the cowboys had used to change the U.S. brand into a D8. Stealing the mules was a federal offense because the animals were government property. So now, Cowboy Frank Pearson made an arrangement with Captain Hearst, and Hearst persuaded the posse to withdraw with the understanding that the mules would be returned. So the cowboys showed up 2 days later without the mules, and they laughed at Hearst and the Earps. In response, Hearst printed a handbill describing, or a wanted poster, describing the theft, and he charged McLaury with hiding the mules. He also reproduced the handbill in the tombstone epitaph on July 30th of 1880. McLaury was angry about this, and he printed a response in a cowboy-friendly paper called The Nugget, calling Hearst unmanly, a coward, a vagabond, a rascal, and a malicious liar, and accused him of stealing the mules himself. So this little back and forth happened for a bit. Hearst did warn the Earps that the cowboys had threatened their lives. Virgil reported that McLaury accosted him and said, "If you ever follow us as close as you did, then you will have a fight on your hands." And a month later, Earp ran into Frank and Tom McLaury in Charleston, because he was working for Wells Fargo at the time, and they told him that they would kill him if he ever followed them as he had done before. Now, I'm not entirely sure with Wyatt's temper, I'm not entirely sure how that didn't end up being a decent fight right there. Okay, so the county sheriff, Charles A. Shilby, appointed Virgil Earp as a deputy sheriff for the eastern portion of Pima County, Arizona, on July 28, 1880, which included Tombstone. The sheriff's position was worth more than $40,000, which is the equivalent of $1,123,000 today, per year. Some of this was due to the fact that it shared jobs with the county assessor and the tax collector, and the board of supervisors. So the board of supervisors for Tombstone, or for the county, allowed Virgil to keep 10% of any of the amounts that were paid to those two positions. So he got paid $40,000 a year to do 3 jobs, which was like over $1 million equivalent, and he got to keep 10% of all the amounts paid in the fees that were for the assessor's office and the tax collector. He was rolling in some money back then, man. Now, Wyatt was appointed a deputy by his brother, and then he passed his Wells Fargo job as a shotgun messenger to his brother Morgan. And Wyatt did well. Wyatt was a good lawman. Like, there's a lot of conjecture about what type of man he was, and did they skate the line of outlawry and all of this stuff. And the reality is, it was the Wild West, and most everybody skated the line of outlawry, or even lawmen. As we've heard before, many of these criminals and these outlaws that we had talked about before ended up working for the law later. So the line was not as clearly drawn as it is today, but he did his job well as a lawman. He was mentioned in the paper nearly every week from August through November, like in the Tombstone Epitaph and the Nugget newspapers. Now, on October 28th, 1880, Tombstone Marshal Fred White attempted to break up a group of 5 late-night drunken revelers, shooting at the moon on Allen Street. Deputy Sheriff Earp was in Owen's Saloon a block away. He was unarmed. Morgan and Fred Dodge were in a cabin nearby. Now, Wyatt heard the shooting and ran to the scene. He borrowed a pistol from Fred Dodge.
I've come from Blackwater.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut right here so you can hear this, and then we'll get to it.
Had some sort of incident.
We don't deal with bounty hunters around here, son.
I was just wondering if I could get a description.
Well, they weren't friends. They got in a fight, 2 men got killed. Now, one of them's an idiot, the other's some kind of dumb mick, so maybe them's your boys. You can look right enough when we hang them.
Thank you, Sheriff.
All right.
Let me out of here, you
Now,
faggots!
he borrowed a pistol from Fred Dodge and went to assist White, Sheriff White. As he approached White, he saw White attempting to disarm Curly Bill Baracus, and the gun discharged, striking White in the groin. Throughout the shooting, which there was some after that, Earp was standing by a chimney that was struck repeatedly by gunfire. At a certain point, he ran out and buffaloed Baracus, knocking him to the ground, and then grabbing Baracus by the collar and told him to get up. Baracus asked, "What have I done?" Fred Dodge recalled in a letter that he wrote to Stuart Lake in 1928, because he was there as a witness.
You gotta do something. I always looked up to you, Arthur.
Well, that's your first mistake.
We're gonna let these guys talk it out.
There's one little problem. There's only one of me, and there's a whole town full of people wanting to see you swing.
You got to do something, Arthur.
All right. So, I believe this is about to get lit up on here. It's going to be quite noisy. And we've kind of come to a head on this. So, a lot of other things happen between the cowboys and whatnot. But most famous would have been the OK Corral. And I'm going to wait until next episode to do the OK Corral itself, because there was a lot that went on there. The OK Corral and the few things that happened after, leading up to Wyatt and Doc Holliday and the Earps leaving Tombstone. At this point, by the way, Doc was living in Tombstone. He had moved on into Tombstone. But I hope you guys are enjoying all of this. I hope y'all are liking the cowboy stories. I'm loving it. I've gotten to do some research that I hadn't done in years to get the dates and stuff for you. But a lot of these stories I already knew. Some of them I haven't. I've had to actually do some research and figure out some of these stories. Like with Pearl Harbor. That was an interesting bit of history. But I hope you all are enjoying this. Please enjoy this gunfight coming up, and we will all talk next week as we cover the OK Corral.
Don't go that way. Let's get the hell out of here. I got some unfinished business. Trust me, Morgan. Trust you? You have finally lost your damn mind. Let's get out of here. Keep moving, Arthur. Goddamn maniac. I should have left you to hang. We're in it now, Morgan. What do you want to do? Send them all out! Come on! Everything you got! We should be long gone by now! They got something of mine I ain't leaving with! without. I'm penned in here. I'll kill you twice. Keep shooting. Don't give up on me now.
You ain't gonna leave here
That was close, Morgan. Shit, more of the bastards.
Yep, I see him.
Will you go down? Hell's coming for you right now. Let's go.
Where are we going?
Making a house call. There's more of these morons. I know. Get on your dead body.
You're as good as Barry, cocksucker!
Ow!
We got a shallow grave all lined up for you!
We really should get out of here.
Calm yourself, woman. Like I said, Skinny, get out here. Skinny!
It ain't Skinny, Micah. It's Norman. Oh.
You always was a letdown, you fat sack of crap. Excuse me a minute, Arthur. Hello, Maddie. Did you miss me? They had something of mine. My guns. I showed him, and I'll show the rest of this town!
You have really lost it this time.
Fire!
You stop, goddammit! The law says so!
Come on, this way. Where are you going now? You want to get out of here, don't you? Take them down. Finish these bastards. Let's get to those horses, Morgan.
Oh, there.
Let's go. Reckon it's time we got out of here, Morgan.
Now you want to get out of here?
Damn it! How many of these sons of bitches are there? Ah! Another lot of them! We are in the herd today!
Hanging too good for you sons of bitches.
Yep.
Look! They're sending the whole brigade!
You ain't leaving me alive.
Okay. Woo. Let's get out of here before we get any more on our tail. That was some good shooting, Morgan. Whew. I gotta hand it to you.
What the hell was that you pulled back there?
Got a bit wild, all right.
Wild. Making a house call in the middle of all that?
Ain't much I care about more than those guns.
That much is clear. Who was that fella?
Skinny? Yeah, we ran together for a while. Did a bank job down south. Didn't end well.
I saw how it goddamn ended.
He was gonna let me hang.
I'm starting to wish I had. And you owe Lenny, too. If he hadn't found us in time...
Yes, you will all be thanked profusely, I promise.
Yeah, well, you're lucky Dutchy's got your back. For some unknown reason. Yeah, that's it, boy.
I think we finally lost him.
I hope so.
I'm giving you a holster. My way of saying thank you.
And thank you. There I was, having a dull day only for you. To liven it up by letting me help you shoot up half a town.
You're a funny fella, Arthur. Real funny. Why you act all sour all the
Yeah,
time?
well, you ain't funny at all. So why you gotta act like the court
All right,
jester?
listen. I'm sorry, but we're family now. Arthur, you and me. Sons of Dutch. Makes us brothers. Sometimes, brothers make mistakes. I'm heading back to my little camp round back of Strawberry. Come see me. Maybe I can make things up to you.
So you ain't heading back to Dutch?
No, I've been a bad boy, Arthur. I ain't seeing Dutch till I can bring him a peace offering. Bye now. Yeah.